This is my review of Jojo's Bizarre Adventure. Okay, so shortly after arriving on the islands, the Joestar group actually runs into a man who they believed initially to be Avdol, but is in fact actually Avdol's father. And the main reason that Joseph took the group to the islands was to both A, get his help, and B, tell him about his son's death. And also points out that the father is also a stand user, much like his son. And Avdol Sr. doesn't want to see them, mainly because he realizes that he knows for a while that now that if anybody actually comes to visit him, it's usually because they have bad news, and then holds himself up in his house. Meanwhile, Polnareff is starting to have grief over the fact that he is kind of responsible for Avdol's death because he couldn't save Avdol, and goes to the beach to sulk because he kind of has to deal with the burden himself, and realizes he probably shouldn't be there when they eventually do decide to tell Avdol Sr. about what happened to his son. At which point, Avdol finds a genie's lamp on the beach, at which point we're introduced to the titular stand, Judgement, who goes under the name of Cameo and introduces itself as a genie, saying that it'll grant 3 wishes for Polnareff. And Polnareff is immediately skeptical and also very hostile toward the stand, even trying to attack it to no avail. But then, after the stand grants his wish for money, he finds out that the stand might actually be a legit genie, and decides to trust it just a little bit more, but not really. But he is a little bit skeptical, and then he starts thinking of other things he could do to prove the stand's authenticity as an ability to make wishes, and as a genie, quote unquote. And then realizes that there's one thing he wants more than anything else. He wants to revive his sister and Avdol, so that he doesn't have to worry about their grief anymore. And the stand agrees to grant the second wish and decides to make Avdol the third wish, and actually does bring Sherry back to life, but it kind of avoids Polnareff for a bit. So Polnareff has to chase after her, and eventually does catch up to her, pointing out that he'll love her no matter what she does. At which point it's revealed that the creature isn't actually his sister, but is in fact a facsimile created by the stand. And it attacks him and tries to fight him, and he can't fight back because it's kind of a sister. Or at least it looks like a sister. At which point the stand reveals itself to actually be a stand, which we kind of figured up to this point, but it also reveals that its ability is kind of tied to what the user to what the wish granter wants. So, for example, he can create wishes, but it's kind of up to what happens with the stand, with the receiver of the wish, as to what it actually does. And also points out that Polnareff has already made his third wish and is planning to revive Avdol as one of the monsters that he can create. So, yeah, overall, Judgment's abilities are very reminiscent of a genie, and is also apparently its card name in reverse. It casts doubt on people and causes problems. So, yeah, which is very reminiscent of what the stand actually does. It creates a figment of fake coins to try and lure Polnareff in with a full sense of security, and then it starts attacking him with facsimiles of its friends and loved ones. So, yeah, overall, Judgement is powerful because it was able to face off against Silver Chariot with little effort, but it also should be pointed out that it's powerful in the sense that it can make duplicates of people. So, yeah. It's very, very dangerous as a stand, but it is a really cool stand, because the idea of a stand that can grant wishes, but them coming back to bite you in the ass, quite literally in this case, is just an interesting concept. So, yeah, this episode is interesting because Polnareff quickly found out that his wishes weren't actually coming true, and it was in fact just the stand messing with him. So, it's going to be interesting because now he has to face off against facsimiles of both his sister and later Avdol. And that's going to be interesting because there are 2 people that he kind of failed to save and is kind of hesitant to strike down. So, yeah. But anyway, if you guys have seen this episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, what did you guys think? Let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below, or over on my Discord server, link in the description. Either way, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and on Twitter in the description below. And also, check out my Patreon description below as well. It's only a couple bucks a month, and it helps me out, and you guys get access to a bunch of perks that are basically my way of saying thank you for supporting me. So be sure to check those out in the description below. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!